From the north side of the San Francisco Bay to Singapore, welcome to Urban X Real Talk Fitness Radio with your host, business owner, lecturer, author, master trainer, Tiaja. With over 30 years of experience in the health and fitness industry, he will challenge the fitness between your ears. So prepare your mind, body, and soul for the revolution of self-care, the evolution of fit, with real talk about real people, real health, real fitness, and the real deal behind our present illness culture. Real talk every time, all the time. Get weekly insights on how to shift your thinking, emoting, eating, training, hydrating, goal setting, and resting for you, the everyday athlete. You can cheat your fitness, but you can't steal your health flow. It's Tuesday, 9 a.m. Let's flow.
You may not think there's a correlation between education and your health, but then you'd be wrong. The main reason I do this show is to provide you with a counter-education so that you can reclaim your power over your health, fitness, and well-being. The trap, indeed the gap, in your education has more to do with misinformation and miseducation than it does with you not knowing something. This isn't about ignorance as much as it is about a lack of awareness. And what is that lack of awareness? The disconnect comes in the form of your wholesale acceptance of the status quo relative to health, but particularly fitness. The fact that you think about your physical image before you think about your self-image is telling. Truth is, there are several industries that collude with each other to create a false reality and subsequent false desires within you. Think about it. How many times as a child did you ever dream of having the perfect body? When did you ever ask for a six-pack for Christmas? It certainly wasn't on my gift list, and I would suspect that it wasn't on yours either. So when did it get there? Well, here's a better question. Who put it there? Welcome to Urban X Real Talk Fitness Radio, where we challenge the fitness between your ears. I'm your host, Tiaja. The 7th strategy of Noam Chomsky's 10 strategies of media manipulation is sobering at best. It asserts that in order to control the masses, that you must first keep the public ignorant and mediocre. Let me read the full hypothesis. Quote, keep the public in ignorance and mediocrity, making the public incapable of understanding the technologies and methods used to control and enslave them. The quality of education given to the lower social class must be poor and mediocre as possible so that the gap of ignorance it plans among the lower class and upper class is and remains impossible to attain for the lower class. End of quote. And to be perfectly honest, this strategy has worked like a charm. As egregious as income inequality is, where CEOs of the top Fortune 500 companies earn nearly 500 times more than their average employee, the gap in education and academia is even greater. The purpose of distinguishing between the two, education versus academia, is because it is my belief that education is sought, whereas academia is simply bought. 2018 will be just another year unless today you decide that it won't be. It is Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. Let's flow.
I'm going to share with you 10 ways that manipulative people get into your head so that you'll do their bidding. I'm Nick. Welcome to All Our Questions, where I search the internet for questions we all want answers to, and I answer them. We're starting right now. Manipulation is defined as control or influence over a person or situation cleverly, unfairly, or unscrupulously. Salespeople do it, significant others do it, friends do it, family members do it. Manipulative behavior has even been observed in children. There are a lot of tactics for manipulation, but in this video, I'm going to share with you 10 of the most common ways that people manipulate each other. And let me know down in the comments below if you feel that you've ever been manipulated, and if you want to, you can even share the full story. 1. A manipulator might ask you a ton of questions. The reason they do this is so that they can identify your strengths and your weaknesses and pry out of you the best angle to take to get what they want. This tactic is huge in sales because if you're selling something, it's wise to know as many details as you can about your potential customer before you start your sales approach. It gives you the upper hand. 2. A manipulator may distort facts. The reason they do this is because they have a biased view of that fact, because it's not beneficial to their argument. So if they don't distort that fact in some way, then there's a good chance they're not going to get what they want. 3. A manipulator could try to overwhelm you with information. If someone wants things to go a certain way and you're not complying, or you have another idea, a manipulative person might make that idea seem impossible or seem extremely difficult and overwhelm you with the ideas or the things that it might take to accomplish that result so that you won't want to do it anymore, or it will basically suck the wind out of your sails so that you'll go in the direction that they want to go in. According to Psychology Today, this particular tactic can also be used to delay fact-finding and truth-seeking. It can also be used to hide flaws, cover up weaknesses, and avoid scrutiny. 4. A manipulator may use aggressive behavior. This includes raising their voice, throwing things, breaking things, using strong body language to reinforce their voice, and so on. This tactic can be extremely effective for a manipulator because you just want them to calm down. So you'll cave just so that they will chill out and then they'll get their way. This tactic also works because it can make you feel threatened. And if you feel threatened, especially if you are in a relationship situation, you get scared and you just want the problem to go away. So you're more likely to cave and give the manipulator what it is that they're after. 5. A manipulator could use negative language in the form of humor or sarcasm. This means they might make statements or remarks to make you feel inferior so that they feel superior. For example, if you make a mistake, like let's say you cooked a pizza for too long and it burnt, instead of just saying, oh, well, you cooked a pizza too long and it burnt and acknowledging the mistake, they call you an idiot. But it's in a fun and sarcastic way so that you don't really pick up on the fact that they are simply belittling you and that they are trying to manipulate how you feel. This tactic also shows in the form of constantly making statements for small things that you do. For example, if you walk into a meeting and you're a few minutes late, your aggressor might say, "Hey Bob, nice of you to finally join us," which puts the spotlight on you and makes you look bad, which gives them psychological superiority. 6. A manipulator may often judge, criticize, or passively intimidate you. This one is huge in dysfunctional relationships. Basically, you have the one partner that constantly hammers on the other partner. There's always something that they have to say about their appearance or the way that they act or the things they say or things along those lines. Oh, that's a stupid idea. Why would you think that? Really? You're gonna wear that? Figured you wouldn't be able to do that. Stuff like that. This particular tactic makes the person being manipulated feel undervalued, and it makes them strive to make the manipulator happy and to please the manipulator because they are never good enough. 7. A manipulative person might try to make you feel guilty. Guilt is often used in manipulation because it targets emotional weakness. For example, I would have gotten that promotion if you wouldn't have kept me up all night. It can also be used to provoke direct action. For example, if you don't make me breakfast every day, I'll find somebody who will. 8. A manipulator may attempt to alienate you. This tactic is used to create dominance and dependence. For example, if you're in a relationship and the person you're in a relationship with cuts you off from your family and friends and other people that you can get opinions from and advice from and that you can bounce ideas off of and have fun with, then the manipulator becomes the main focal point of your life. They're your source of information. They're the only ideas that matter because they're the only people or the only person that's in your life. 9. A manipulator may use your own words against you. Manipulative people usually don't like to take responsibility for things, and because of that, they will go to extreme efforts to avoid it. For example, if you say something like, "Oh, I see you still haven't done the laundry. I thought you said that you were going to do the laundry today." And then they say, "I was planning on it, but if you knew how much stress I was under, you wouldn't even be asking me to do the laundry. We wouldn't even be having this conversation right now." This tactic repositions the manipulator as the victim, and it makes you feel guilty for even bringing it up in the first place. 10. A manipulator may discredit or diminish your problems. This tactic is used to bring full attention back to the manipulator. For example, if you say, "Oh man, I had a really rough day at work today," then they might say, "You don't even know what a rough day at work is. Walk a day in my shoes and you'll know how hard work is." And of course, there are tons of other ways that people can manipulate others. This is just the tip of the iceberg. If you want me to do a part 2 of this video, just let me know down in the comments below. And if you have questions that you want answered, leave them down in the comments below or send them to me on any other social outlet. Just remember to use the hashtag AskAOQ so that I know that you want your questions answered, and I'll see what I can do. If you know anyone who would appreciate this video and who would like to know how to know if they're being manipulated, go ahead and share this video with them or share it on your Facebook timeline. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button somewhere on this page so you can get more answers to all our questions. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Now here are my 2 cents, and feel free to keep the change. Though overly simplistic, I chose this list because it's easier to understand something if you can relate to it personally, which is to say it provided a lot of personal examples most of us can relate to. So I'm going to quickly cite a few examples from his list and extrapolate them to the larger world picture, particularly as it pertains to the mass media. Of course, we should be careful in how we use such information and not look at every single behavior in our relationships as being manipulative. There will always be an overlap of behaviors that look like what we're looking for. Case in point, when I first took Psych 101, everyone instantly became either schizophrenic or had OCD or both. Now, I'm sure every psych major can relate to that, so we have to proceed with some caution, just not nearly as much when it comes to assessing the mass media. Number 1. They might ask you a ton of questions to figure out your strengths and weaknesses. Have you ever had a company send you a random survey, and in that survey they ask you a ton of questions that have nothing to do with their product but more with you individually? Information gathering is more than about sales. It's about tracking your every decision or choice so that you can later be emotionally manipulated into making a purchase, whether material or ideological. Number 2. A manipulative person may distort facts if they don't align with their goal. The distortion or retelling of facts has become one of the major stumbling blocks in American politics today. It has also wreaked havoc on the overall morale of Americans who no longer believe in the truth-telling status of its political or civic leaders. Closer to home, the food and fitness industries have colluded not only to distort facts about health and fitness, they often boldly lie in order to get the public to buy their products or ideas. For example, the untold damage low-fat dietary propaganda alone enacted on the American public won't be realized for decades, but its collateral damage can be seen in the ever-increasing mortality statistics of Americans. And finally, number 3, a manipulator could try to overwhelm you with information to leave you confused and defeated. Now, this is the primary role of the news media. It isn't to keep you informed or abreast of what's going on in the world around you. Its primary function is to induce fear and confusion by editing the news in such a way that it increases viewership and brand loyalty through fear and confusion. That's why you seldom get the story behind the story, only what they want you to hear and to know and accept as factual. Now, I could go on, but I'll let this suffice for now. Look, we've reached a point of critical mass manipulation, meaning you really do have to question everything you receive by way of the news or media in general. Now, I'm not advocating for you to become a cynic and disagree in principle with everything you hear, but you have to be discerning. Here's one small way I test reality. If it wasn't true for my parents, then it's probably not true. Now, I know it's not a perfect gauge, but one thing I do know about the world we live in, truth is truth. And please don't tell me about facts. Part of the problem in our discourse today is that we argue from the base of what we know as factual versus what we know as actual. Facts change all the time, but truth does not. Truth is constant. You can hide the truth, but you can't alter it. You can bury it under facts, but if those facts don't align with the truth, then they too are lies. It's really that simple. When the media props up a sports figure or celebrity, for example, to be extolled as a hero, its only purpose is to make your life, meaning you, seem insignificant and mediocre by comparison. After making you feel mediocre, their hope is that that person will become an idol in your life. So A, you will live your life vicariously through them, and B, you will shut down every time you hear a criticism about that person because such criticism is a reflection on you. The other day I was reading an article that said a petition was signed and being passed around the internet for LeBron James to replace Betsy DeVos as the Secretary of Education. Now, I don't know for sure if this is fake news or not since I haven't followed up on the article's source, though it says it's from MSN. Still, here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Apparently the petition needs 35,000 signatures, and as of Friday afternoon it had only reached 30,000. Now, of course, that's a paltry sum compared to the general population, but here's my problem. Let's say this petition is real and 35,000 people actually do sign such a petition. Does that say more about those Americans who signed the petition, or does it say something even greater about the power of the media to try to sway public opinion? The gap of ignorance between the upper and lower class is on full display here. There are those who would rather appoint or anoint some athlete over our children than to answer the overriding question about American education, and that is, why can't it produce better human beings? There is such a disrespect for the intelligence of the American people that they truly believe that they can propose anything and blatantly manipulate the masses without rebuttal. So even if what they're asking is totally irrational in the actual world, it can be a rational possibility in the factual one. Dear friends, I wish above all things that you prosper just as your soul prospers. You've been listening to Urban X Real Talk Fitness Radio with your host, Tiaja. If you like the content we bring each week, then follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, as well as all of your other favorites, social media. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button or download our app at tiajae.podbean.com. I am also proud to share with you my latest podcast and YouTube channel titled T's Universe. It's already catching fire, and trust me when I say it's unlike anything you've heard before. Check it out every Wednesday. It's 5 minutes that's guaranteed to change your life. And don't forget to stop through our website at www.urbanxfitness.net, where you will find our online stores, the Urban Experience Fit Stores 1 and 2. There you can download our unique home and gym workouts, dietary menus, as well as purchase some outrageously bold teas and spark your own revolution of self-care. Also, check out our small library of my own hand-picked, personally endorsed nutritional products. Okay? Got it? Then get it. Until next week, as always, walk in health and peace.